reportedly launched a roundup focusing on illegal Somali immigrants in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. It comes amid a massive Medicaid fraud scandal in Minnesota, along with rampant gang activity. All of this prompting President Trump to declare Somalis not welcome in the U.S. The president has officially terminated all pardons or communications signed by the infamous Auto Pen during President Biden's time in office. In Tennessee, Republican Matt Van Epps has won the special election for a U.S. House seat. It was a close race with Democrat Afton Bain. Official winter still a few weeks away, but it's already looking a lot like winter across parts of the Northeast, where a storm dumped as much as a foot of snow in some areas. Dow futures up 86 points. More details, srnnews.com.
Our country is held together by small businesses. That's a fact. It's also a fact that 9 out of 10 of those small businesses will fail. Why? Because it's hard, really hard to build a profitable business from the ground up today. Pure Talk knows that. They started as a small American wireless company determined to keep their customer service in this country. It worked. And today, Pure Talk is determined to help other small businesses prosper by offering them the same white glove service the big guys get. Same service, same 5G network at a truly affordable price. Pure Talk is focused on businesses that employ welders and roofers, electricians, plumbers, HVAC techs, the people who keep the lights on. If that sounds like your business, give Pure Talk Business a try and see just how much you could save. Dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who understands the power of small business. Pure Talk.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
With NWKS Radio News, I'm Connor Schuh. This Monday at 7:45 a.m., a crash occurred on I-70 in Gove County. According to the Kansas Highway Patrol crash log, the driver of a 2019 Toyota Tacoma was traveling westbound on the highway. It hit an ice patch, causing the driver, Megan Morlang's vehicle, to swerve into a ditch, and it then rolled and it came to a rest on its roof. Morlang was transferred to Logan County Hospital after reports of possible injury, and she was wearing a seatbelt during the accident. Play 315 is working on a project to renovate the Colby Grade School playground with brand new equipment built to make it safer and make a more accessible playground that every child can play on. They'll be adding ramps and mobility-friendly structures that will make the playground easier to access for kids that may have mobility challenges or use wheelchairs to get around. For these and other stories, go to nwksradio.net.
Today we'll have light snow in eastern Colorado and flurries along Highway 27 in Kansas with only minor accumulation for those areas. Evening by middle afternoon, skies will be cloudy, highs 30 to 35 with winds from a northeast direction at 10 to 20 miles per hour, turning to southwest around 5 overnight when skies clear, dropping lows in the upper teens to around 20. With some sunshine, tomorrow's temperatures will slowly warm to around 40, then Friday warm nicely to around 50 with southwest winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Thursday night, the winds will turn to the northeast, and it will be colder with lows around 20, and then Friday night will be warmer as the winds turn back to the southwest and climb into the upper 20s. A weak system and cold front over the weekend may result in a few sprinkles or flurries, and highs will be in the upper 30s to low 40s and lows in the upper teens to low 20s. This meteorologist Chris Romick at the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
Not all music is created equally.
Welcome to Rocket 102.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
The amount of money getting thrown around to quarterbacks who haven't done diddly squat is amazing to me.
And Connor Schuh.
He's the new guy.
The High Plains only local sports talk show, broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
Covering it all from the preps.
He's at the 10, the 5, he dives for the end zone, he's in! Touchdown, Cowboys!
To the pros.
Line drive, left field, base hit! Here comes McMahon, he'll score! Ball game!
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with
Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, the Insurance Agency, Pestaway LLC, Topside Portables and Pupping, and the Farmer State Bank in Oakland.
Let's go to work.
Braden coming downhill at Francis. Tried to throw it out high to Jakari Harris for 3 straight away. Good. A triple time. Jakari Harris, his third made 3 in the first half. Blues up 38-25.
There's a corner throw for Sturt. Step back 3. No. Beauty right down. I thought he was short. Yeah. Nothing moved. The net or the iron.
Inside the Huskies go. They try to pass out, but Jaden Dawson steps away and takes it away to Rosario. A two-hand monster jam. That goal still shaking. Here comes Kansas down 4. Council to McDowell. Fakes on a 3. Out to Melvin. He pulls. He hits. Melvin Council has come alive.
Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Welcome back. It's the Morning Blitz on this December the 3rd. Glad you decided to join us on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and WKSradio.net, the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. Back in studio today after a show on the road yesterday, which, by the way, was a lot of fun. Thanks again to the Sherman County Gives Match Day for having us out there, the Sherman County Community Foundation. It was a great time. I thought it was one of our better shows, honestly. We had a lot of fun yesterday out there. We're just better amongst the people, I guess, is what it is, instead of our own little cubicle. Maybe that's
absolutely.
So anyway, we had some fun yesterday. Thanks to them for inviting us to broadcast there. Thanks, of course, to Bill Bierman for stopping by. We had a good time yesterday there. And I also saw, congratulations to the Sherman County Gives. They raised over $220,000 for that over the course of that day. So congratulations to them. That was a phenomenal showing from them yesterday. But thanks again. A lot of fun and a fun broadcast yesterday over at the Sherman County Gives Match Day. Today's program, Henry Greenstein of KU Sports, KUSports.com, going to stop by and visit with us. We got lots to get into with him, whether it's recapping Kansas basketball and their 6-3 start coming off a loss last night to UConn at home. More on that in just a moment. We'll talk to him about that. We'll talk to him about Lance Leipold and where does Kansas football go from here. Speaking of college football, it is early National Signing Day today. For those who follow closely, I admit it used to be something I was very, very much into. I don't care anymore about recruiting anymore because it doesn't matter. It does not matter.
I wouldn't say it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, Connor. I mean, let's face the facts.
Portal matters more now. But
that's my point, is that there is no guarantee that a young man that you sign today is going to graduate 3, 4 years, 5 years from now. There's no guarantee. No guarantee. Yeah. In fact, he could play for 4 different schools over the course of his 4 years or 5 years, whatever. He really could. It's like senior day has lost its luster. I mean, really, if you want to be there for senior day, you're hoping to see some guys that saw the field a lot and were there all 4 years, and that just doesn't happen anymore. It's just the way it is. So
not as much.
I mean, for Ohio State, it's all cookies and candy canes because all they sign are 4 and 5 stars. So it doesn't matter. Hey, I'm not. Hey, hate the player. Don't hate the player. Hate the game. Yeah. So they're going to sign all 4 and 5 stars. They've had the best recruiting classes for the last how many years, and it showcases every year on the college football gridiron. But yeah, anyway, we'll talk with Henry Greenstein coming up on today's program as well. And boy, I found an interesting article yesterday about the University of Colorado and the athletic department. Ruh-roh. We will get to that coming up in segment 3. And then I have an interesting story I want to get to with Connor about some news that happened during the game on this previous Saturday. Did you know that happened, by the way?
I don't think I did.
Okay.
I
heard something about it.
I actually missed that, honestly, entirely. That's interesting.
So we will get to all that coming up here. And we'll also hit on the college football playoff poll that came out, the second to last one, the CFP poll. We'll hit to that here in just a little bit. But kicking things off here, before we get started, of course, the F&B Bank text line is open at 785-899-2222. If you'd like to be part of the Morning Blitz, would love to hear from you. Larry, our resident sports fanatic, Larry chiming in, also a huge basketball lover. Last night was an awesome night of men's college basketball. Names like Boozer and Mullins are coming back again. Where does Mullins' kid play, Larry? I don't even know.
I don't know if it's his kid, but I think there were college stars in the past with last name Mullins spelled. There was Byron Mullins at Ohio State. He was pretty good about 15 years ago.
I would not be related to Chris Mullins.
And Chris Mullen is not quite Mullins, so but there's good Mullen and
yes,
Mullins.
I do know the Boozer boys. Duke with a great win last night over Florida in a pretty good game. Early in the early slate, there was a good game there. There was some. I watched a little bit of Iowa. I want to watch my boy Ben McCollum and Sturts, but who got spanked by Michigan State. But everyone, I tell you, if we go to Michigan State on conference opening game, it's a death.
You're gonna lose.
It's a death trap. It's a death sentence.
Yeah.
You don't want to go there up to East Lansing and play the Big Ten opener. You're going to get beat. Trust me. I know, being a fan of another college basketball team that's been in that same situation many a time. You want to go up kind of more in the middle of the season where they've kind of got all that extra energy and juice taken care of. But anyway, so we'll get to more on that college basketball. Yeah, it was a great night, including Kansas and UConn, which I'll tell you what, I said yesterday on the show, I talked about K-State and how the building was a morgue when they lost to Bowling Green. That was not the case there at Lawrence last night. The fog and Allen Fieldhouse was hopping. It was raring to go, and it carried the Jayhawks through the first half. Unfortunately, it did not do much to help them in the second half. Is the stat that stands out to me, Connor, is Kansas made a total of 5 second-half field goals.
Ooh.
5 made baskets in the second half. End up losing 61-56 to fifth-ranked UConn. Once again, no Darren Peterson. And I know listener Kyle asked us yesterday. He said, what are your thoughts on Kansas now after that showing? Yeah, great showing. But once again, I think we were right on with our saying, this is a good team when they don't have Darren Peterson. They're a really good team when they need him, and they have to have him.
Yeah.
They need him. They have designed their team around him for him to be their bucket getter. And they didn't have that in the second half yesterday against UConn.
No, they did not. And if they had him, I think they would have won the game.
Yes,
honestly, they hung with them the whole way. And I think you got to shout out some of the role players that did step up. Elmarco Jackson hasn't really been doing a whole lot this year, but 11 points in 16 minutes was a spark they kind of needed, especially when Trey White wasn't doing a whole lot. Melvin Council kind of figured it out late, as you heard in that call there earlier that you played at the very top of the show.
4 of 13, by the way. 4 of 13 did Melvin Council Jr.
Yeah. Most of those shots were, well, I think he had a good chunk of those 5 made field goals in the second half. And that was part of the reason he was, sounded like he was playing better. But also, shout out to the kid Larry was mentioning, Braylon Mullins on the other side for UConn. Really good freshman, 17 points in 23 minutes. He was hard to stop.
Solo ball is what stood out to me. First and foremost, I never heard of the guy before.
He's an All-American candidate.
But I said the name. I was like, "Is that Han Solo boy?" I was a joke, but nonetheless, was it a cross between Han Solo and Lamar Ball or whatever the heck? Is that one of the Ball? I don't even know. He was impressive watching him last night for UConn. But here's the thing that stood out to me about last night's game from Kansas's perspective. Is that they played elite defense. You hold a UConn Husky team to 61 points, you really sat down and worked defensively. You did a great job defensively. And so I was very impressed with their defense and how they kept Kansas in the game. But once again, they need more offensive production. And that once again relies on the guy by the name of Darren Peterson. When he's not there, their offensive numbers. I mean, I would love to see a study, but we only have 2 games to do it. But it'll be interesting to see as the season progresses on. Hopefully he gets back and plays for a consistent amount of time. What's the point per game average difference when he's on the floor versus when they're not? Offensively. Do you think over under 18 points difference per game? That's a big number.
I don't know about that because he does give you extra points, but then you have other guys scoring much less when he's on the court. And we can look back to the 2 games that did happen, including the North Carolina game. They scored 74 points in that one. And granted, looking ahead, they only scored more than that without him 1, 2, 3 times, and 2 of those were against Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and Princeton. So, yeah, they definitely would score more.
I rest my case.
They would score more with him, that's for sure.
Real quickly, post game, Bill Self after the loss once again, falling to UConn 61-56. Bill Self post game.
Yeah, it was an ugly defensive game. We actually guarded them well, but we missed 2 switches at the end of the game. They gave up 4 points uncontested. Up until then, we guarded them pretty well. We just didn't rebound the second half. They dominated us, kicked our ass on the glass the second half on man plays. And first half we did, but second half we didn't. And I'm sure that their staff got after them pretty good at halftime and challenged them, and they responded. And we didn't respond to the physical, aggressive play the second half. And we ran bad offense, terrible offense, but we also didn't run offense. We played way too much one-on-one, and you gotta against good teams, especially when you labor to score with that team. And we're going to labor to score, obviously, without Darren, but you got to have ball and body movement, and we didn't. We played one-on-one. We didn't play to what we need to play to. So. That was disappointing, and then we wasted so much. I bet you we had 10 empty, wasted possessions that we had no chance to score on because we didn't play, and then that was the difference, those possessions. But it was a good game, great atmosphere, crowd was great, and we had our chance when we cut it to 3. And I told Mari if he didn't have a 3 to go make a play, and he tried, and they just made a good defensive play.
I love the point in there where we talked about we didn't play offense. We did it. And that's the thing. You want to see a team that has a great chance of losing a game, watch a team that doesn't play offense consistently. Watch the teams that play the hero ball. One man come down the floor, a couple dribbles, maybe get a screen, jack up a 3, couple dribbles behind the back, try to drive, hit a fadeaway jumper from the free throw line, not good. Go diving into the paint, looking to draw a foul, doesn't get it, throws up a crazy shot, misses everything but the backboard. I mean, that's what Kansas offense looked like at times last night. It did not look like that. And I've seen plenty that saw that with Kansas State multiple times this year. They just guys get in their heads and don't know why. Well, we're going to just stand off and let a guy try to isolate. We're going to try to get open in the corner for a 3. There's no creativity. Like offensive basketball has completely lost its creativity over the last, 5 to 10 years, maybe even more.
I think you're looking in the wrong places, Ross, but I see your point.
I'm looking in the wrong places.
There's a lot of good ball that's granted. There is a lot of
bad ball out there, though. There's a lot of bad ball out there.
There's a lot of both, and there's always been a lot of both.
Now there is great offensive basketball at Nebraska. You can watch that and you can see it. That is some great stuff. And I'm not even trying to toot my own team's horn here. You watch it. It is great basketball. Backdoor cutting, screening, pick and roll, all kinds of great stuff. Offensive sets that actually get buckets. It's fun to watch. But here close to home, watching Kansas and Kansas State the last few games, no, it's not it.
It's not the best. That's for sure.
So anyway, last night, a tough loss for Kansas at home to UConn. Once again, thought they played great defensively. Just didn't have enough offensively. Hopefully Darren Peterson is going to get back at some point in time. I mean, he's got to be close. I would imagine. I guess I will be surprised if he does not play Sunday against Missouri. I guess I'll be surprised.
because it felt like he was going to come back like a week ago, but
it felt like he was going to come back yesterday because they're like, oh, he looks great in practice. He should be ready to go. And then, we're just going to sit him.
Yeah.
I mean,
weird.
You can just tell that they are handling this situation with kid gloves because they're like, if he goes out there and he plays and he pulls this hamstring again, we are in serious trouble.
I mean, they can still make it to the tournament without him. And I think maybe the idea here, I mean, I doubt they're going to sit him for that long, but I think they want him to be as healthy as possible before he gets out there so they can maximize his ability on the court, which I would love to see him more often, but I understand it from a coaching perspective.
I think they're like, we're going to let this guy just get healed up. And if he's not ready until the new year, and that's when we open up Big 12 play against UCF on the road, then so be it.
Exactly.
I really think that. I really do think that. I think they think, well, we're going to hold off. And as long as he's ready to go by Big 12 play when it really, really matters. Because like you said, Missouri this week, and Missouri's not been great this year, but I mean, if there's a team that gets up for Kansas, it's Missouri. So you better be ready. The last year, KU talked a bunch of trash. I remember it was our good friend Max Gershon. He was talking a bunch of trash, talking about how KU was going to whoop Missouri, and Missouri beat him. So, you want to talk all the trash you want to. Missouri can still beat you in a rivalry type game. They go on the road to NC State, which is finding its way underneath Will Wade in their first season. They've got Towson and Davidson before they begin Big 12 play. And they actually have a pretty easy slate to begin Big 12 play. UCF, TCU, West Virginia's okay. They've got some easier games in the scheme of their playing in the Big 12 conference, which is not easy at all.
Yeah. I got to shout out Towson too. That's not you can't look over them. They're a good mid-major, and they might upset you if you don't pay attention. So that's not as easy of a game as it seems. I'm just going to throw that out there.
See, and I think they're willing to kind of sacrifice a few losses to make sure that he's ready to go for conference play. I think that's just my thought here.
I think you have. Well, yeah, exactly. I don't think they mind that because if he comes back, and I think they're still going to, even without him, have an ability to get enough wins in conference play to make it to the tournament ultimately.
Well, like you said, if you're looking at their 3 losses in the net rankings, they've got a 5th-ranked Duke loss, a 5th-ranked UConn loss, and a 25th-ranked North Carolina, which, by the way, is now up into the top 20.
Here, I've got the net pulled up right now. Let's see where they're at, actually. Oh, man.
He's still scrolling.
Yeah, I think I'm scrolling a little bit more than.
Did you miss it?
I thought I'm gonna scroll back up because I don't think they're this far down. So I'm in the 90s right now. But they can't be that high either. They're okay. They're 20. I think that might be, 20 might be a little high, I think. But
20 in the Ken Palm. So yeah. I don't know. It's
probably about the same in the Ken Palm.
It is right at 20 actually in the Ken Palm.
Okay.
20. So that's where Kansas sits, and they'll have some chances to be better on that. I have a quick question though. I saw last night that they were Kyle yesterday was talking about Syracuse and not Syracuse, talking about Tennessee. Excuse me, how that was a great win. Well, Tennessee went on the road and lost to Syracuse. Is that a bad loss for Tennessee?
I don't think so. I think Syracuse is better than they've been in the past couple of years, and Syracuse is a basketball school. They were going to bounce back and be good this year. They got Melo's son, and he's pretty good. I'll always shout him out whenever I get a chance to. I like watching him play. And they've got a good team. They're not like the class of the ACC, but they're definitely not a pushover, and they were playing at home too. So, no, because it was that.
No, it was at Syracuse. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. Because I was thinking that ACC. It
was at Syracuse,
but it was there, and they had the big court storm at the end. That was pretty cool. But Syracuse is definitely not a pushover.
Yeah. Who is even the head coach for Syracuse now?
It's still Adrian Autry. He's on the hot seat. He needs a good year.
Well, anyway, they got a nice win over Tennessee, and we'll see if how good is Tennessee. We'll find out more as the year progresses on. We'll learn more. But Kansas once again falling last night to UConn 61-56. Before we get to a quick break, the CFP rankings were released yesterday. Anything stand out to you about the CFP rankings? You got a smirk on your face. So I think something's in your craw about it.
I don't know, but I remember seeing all the chatter on Twitter about Texas fans being really mad that they were ranked 13th. I thought that was hilarious. And I see even Steve Sarkisian said on like a radio show, he's like, well, we might as well just not play Ohio State then if they're going to do this. Dude, you lost to Florida. That's why you're there. I mean, it's not because you lost to Ohio State. It's because you lost to Florida and had 2 more losses. The chances of a 3-loss team being in the playoff, it's very, very slim. And you have to, I mean, you can't have Florida as one of those losses. I know they beat Texas A&M, but no. Other than that, I think
a win against A&M does not flush a loss against Florida this year.
No. And I thought maybe they could have bumped Vandy up a little bit, but now they have no chance to really redeem themselves.
Because Texas beat Vanderbilt, so that's why they stay up there, at least at this point. Even though, I don't know, even though head-to-head sometimes doesn't always matter, Notre Dame and
that is true.
That kind of thing going on. Notre Dame, Miami. But
and then one more thing is the ACC is just, I don't know what's going to happen because Miami's not going to play in the conference championship, and they're ranked 12th. It's going to be Virginia and 5-loss Duke. So
there is a great shot that if Duke beats Virginia, the ACC does not get a team in.
No, they could put in Tulane or North Texas, just the winner of the American, and then James Madison. Like that could easily, that'd be so awesome. I would.
There's a great shot at that.
Love that.
Great shot at happening. The other big storyline was Ole Miss actually did not get penalized for the loss of the Lane Kiffin situation. They actually moved up a spot to number 6.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
He's not on the field.
Yeah, that's right. Once again, I was hoping they wouldn't penalize him, but penalize them, and they didn't. They moved him up a spot as Texas A&M fell 4 spots down to number 7 in the most recent college football playoff rankings. There you go. All right, and once again, the final rankings will come out this Sunday, and that will be the one that will officially fill the bracket, and we'll know what the playoff slate looks like. And I know we don't have a Cultural Power 5 today. We'll touch on that more Friday with the conference championship slate. There's 8 games that are played for conference?
I think there's 6.
6? Okay.
At least this week.
Not a ton of games, so we'll talk about those more on Friday as we get closer to the conference championship weekend here in college football. All right, 7:28 Mountain, 8:28 Central Time on a Wednesday. As always, FB Bank text line open at 785-899-2222 if you want to hit us up on the show. Jared H. chiming in with a question real quickly about what about a 3-loss Alabama team in the college football playoff? Yeah, you're right.
I don't know.
It's
probably.
I don't know. I don't think you can. I don't know if you can.
It's one of those things where it's like, oh, their losses were all good, but it's like that's such a weird argument.
I think we just refer back to what Bill said yesterday.
Oh, they lost to Florida State.
Yeah, lost to Florida State.
So that's
again, that was early in the year though, and all those early year losses are forgiven.
Yeah, I guess. So
if you're gonna lose early. Don't lose late.
Because they don't exist to the committee.
Right. That's
ridiculous.
Right. I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see. It would really help if BYU beat Texas Tech and Alabama lost to Georgia. That would get 2 teams from the Big 12 in. Bama would drop out more than likely.
I would hope so. But I think they'd find a way to sneak Bama in there.
Maybe they will. We'll see. All right, get to break. Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com, joining us next to talk KU basketball, football, all things KU, next in the Morning Blitz.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I'm opening my own coffee shop.
I smell a caffeinated catastrophe.
And I needed menu boards and banners printed.
What you really needed was a reality check.
Staples really came through. They printed menus and signs, even flyers in time for my grand opening.
And that's when the other shoe dropped.
Not quite. I got $125 off my custom print order.
Cha-ching! For your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. Valid in-store and online until 11/1. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Need a porta potty or septic pumping in Northwest Kansas? Call Topside Portables and Pumping, your local family-owned crew. They've got clean, reliable toilets for weddings, farms, and job sites, plus full septic services, RV waste, fertilizer tanks, and more. Available 24/7, because when nature calls, they answer. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. Reliable, local, clean.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
This is Austin Wright, the Anderson Trade Group, in your morning market update. It is December 3rd. March corn, 447. May 26 corn, 454.5. July 26 corn, 460. March 26 KC wheat, 530.5. May 26 KC wheat, 541.25. July 26 KC wheat, 553.5. January soybeans, 1125.25. March 26 soybeans, 1135. May 26 soybeans, 1144.75. Dow Jones futures are currently at 80 points at 47,624. S&P 500 futures are currently at 15 points at 6,856. NASDAQ futures are currently at 43 points at 25,649. Gold futures are currently at 45 points at 4,266. Crude is currently up 71 cents at 59.35. For your grain marketing needs or more information on our freedom pricing tools, you can reach the Kansas City office, Jared Law, Tyler Gosh, Todd Saludo at 913-481-3000. In Colorado, John Hankey and John Stiles, 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
At Wheelchairs for Warriors, serving America's heroes is our mission. With your support, we serve veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty across the United States of America, providing them custom fit, complex rehab mobility solutions to ensure they rejoin their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. Join the mission at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
LivestockMarket.com offers all the tools you need for a successful production sale. The easy-to-use online platform makes it super easy to take bids from anywhere in the world. Buyers can place pre-bids and real-time bids, browse your sales catalog, and watch your sale broadcast live. LivestockMarket.com is also the ideal platform for private treaty sales and timed online-only auctions. There's no easier way to find buyers for cattle, horses, sheep, and hay. Sell on your terms today with LivestockMarket.com.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, and cleaner American fuel. This message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
This fall, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has everything you could need. Keep your lawn strong with Ultimate Winterizer, the best defense before the frost. Warm up your evenings and create memories with a new fire pit. Or bring
So do your needs, and Western Auction and Real Estate LLC is ready to help. From farmland to equipment, trust this family team, licensed in Kansas, Nebraska, and Colorado. Call 785-332-8990 in St. Francis.
Sports talk that's fast, fresh, and always on point.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
This is the Morning Blitz.
7:35 Mountain, 8:35 Central Time. Overcast, 28 degrees. Going to be a cooler day today. Temperature is going to stay in the upper 30s to 40s, and that's going to be the temperature kind of the rest of the week. So cooler temperatures. Yesterday was a beautiful day. gorgeous day yesterday, but going to be cooler temperatures on tap for the rest of this week. We also we will hit up a little bit later on in the show, talking a little Colorado athletic department issues. That is coming up here in a little bit too on the Morning Blitz. But right now we continue to talk a little Kansas athletics. Our good friend from KUSports.com, that is Henry Greenstein, joins us now on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware hotline. He's a very busy man, a man in demand. Henry Greenstein is on a signing day, following a basketball game, wrapping a football season. Henry, good morning. How are we doing today?
I'm doing just fine. As you said, still a busy period. You know, you get to the end of November and the end of crossover season, and you think things will let up, and you very quickly realize that's not the case. And, of course, the NCAA volleyball tournament begins here in Lawrence tomorrow as well. So a lot going on, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Nope, you're a very busy guy with lots of things to cover there at KUSports.com, the Lawrence Journal World. Let's get to the most recent stuff. KU basketball losing to UConn 61-56. They just honestly couldn't buy a bucket in the second half. They played great defense throughout most of it. What are some of your key takeaways in that loss to UConn at home?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the biggest one. They're a fundamentally limited team without Darren Peterson, and I think they were certainly fun to watch last week in Vegas. They've rallied around each other. They play very well together, and they've got a lot of heart, and they showed that in coming back against Tennessee on Wednesday. But what they don't have without Peterson is a guy who you can, as Bill Self puts it, you can run bad offense and still pick up points at the end of a possession. And various guys have tried to fill that role over the course of the last 7 games, be it Melvin Council or Trey Wright or even Corey Badunga in some cases, even though he can't really create it quite as much because someone still has to feed him the ball. But I would say that the second half last night was definitely the nadir of that strategy. You know, Trey White had one of his worst games of the season. Council did his best, but still ends up with only 12 points on 4 of 13 shooting. And the ultimate result is a half in which KU went 5 of 20 from the field when it had a chance to be the top 5 team. And even despite that, KU had the ball with like 4 minutes to go twice, down by only 1 point. And so that's a testament to how good their defense is, even without Peterson, and just how poor their offense is without Peterson. And, the message from Bill Self yesterday was that they're not going to play Peterson until he's absolutely 100%, which in my view is a little bit of an odd thing that you don't often hear with athletes, but they are certainly exercising an abundance of caution. It's hard to blame them in that respect. You want to make sure you have Peterson at full strength when the games start to count even more in the Big 12. Of course, they all count. And next up on Sunday is Missouri, so it would be a good spot for them to get him back here. But yeah, just I think a game that demonstrates the limitations of the KU roster as it currently stands. And part of the thing is they just didn't move the ball very well, and it got stuck a lot. And these are not really players who should be functioning as late clock shot creators. They should be cutting and passing and moving the ball around. And the late clock shot creator should be the guy who's sitting on the bench in street clothes right now. So a little bit dispiriting for KU, not like a shocking result and not shameful to lose the number 5 team. But of course, KU never expects to lose it out in Field House.
Henry, when Darren comes back, how much does that, where do you think that raises the ceiling of this team to?
Well, even if you let's just set aside Darren's own skill set for a moment. As I was just alluding to, these players, this roster was built around him. KU wasn't supposed to be in a position where Melvin Council has the ball in his hand for 38 minutes every game, although he actually does seem to be pretty comfortable doing it. And I think has earned a lot of fans in the KU fan base, which is pretty impressive considering he's shooting like 30-something% from the field, just because of his tenacity and his stamina and his willingness to serve in that role. But Melvin Council wasn't supposed to be doing that. He was supposed to be the secondary ball handler and a fast transition guy and a defender. Trey White wasn't supposed to be doing that. He was supposed to be a cutter and an offensive rebounder and a guy who can occasionally get to the free throw line, sort of like a I don't know if diminish is the right word, but kind of like an alternate or less ball dependent version of a guy like Kevin McCullough or something. These were all supposed to be complementary pieces. Flory Bidunga wasn't supposed to be the guy who's number one on the opposing team's scouting report. He was supposed to be a guy who would form a dynamic duo with Darren Peterson. So I think that even ignoring what Peterson himself does, it'll be so much easier for all these other guys when the gravity of the opposing defense is pulling them toward this one guard. And then you think about what Peterson actually can do, which we've seen extremely brief glimpses of in 50 combined minutes across 2 games, during which he still managed to score 43 points against Green Bay and North Carolina. His first step off the dribble is unparalleled. He's a knockdown shooter. He can create for his teammates. Everything we've heard about, there's a reason why he gets all these incredibly superlative comparisons to NBA greats. There's a reason why he'll be one of the top picks in the NBA draft. But yeah, this team was obviously built in his image, as it should be. And like I said, it's quite admirable that they've managed to get a lot of wins despite that. But 56 points in Allen Fieldhouse is not going to cut it against just about anybody, no matter how good your defense is.
Henry Greenstein, our guest from KUSports.com, the Lawrence Journal World. Let's just say for an interesting deal, let's say they don't bring. I mean, we thought Peterson would be back yesterday. He wasn't. Let's say he doesn't make it for Missouri, or let's just say for fun he doesn't make it for NC State. They're going to completely put the baby kid gloves on him and protect him and make sure he's completely 100% ready to go. What needs to change for them to pick up more wins or be a better band? Who needs to shoulder more of the load? Who needs to up their game? Who needs to maybe change their game to have more success?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think my mind immediately goes to Jaden Dawson and Cole Rosario. KU has been lucky. I don't know if lucky is the right word, but KU has been fortunate that Elmarko Jackson the last 2 games has suddenly transformed into what everyone thought he was going to be coming out of high school, because it has distracted from the fact that the Jayhawks' theoretical top 2 shooters on this team have been almost complete non-factors. Dawson had a stretch that was actively detrimental to KU yesterday, where he fouled twice in rapid succession and then traveled when he had a wide open dunk at the rim if he wanted it. Rosario, I think that you can see the vision more easily, but he's not really making a significant impact on the offensive end of the floor. We heard so much about his shooting capacity and his bounce. He goes after loose balls and plays hard, but he hasn't really demonstrated those things in any concrete way to this point. So those guys, that was originally supposed to be a slot in KU's starting lineup. It's lucky for them that, like I said, Jackson has done better than expected. It's lucky for them that Bryson Tiller has done well, although Tiller was over his last 12 on 3, which kind of diminishes his capability to stretch 4. But yeah, I think KU needs to start getting something out of Dawson and Rosario, because Elmarko Jackson and Jamari McDowell were not supposed to be this team's primary 2 3-point shooters, but that's exactly how it worked out. That's why they were ahead of UConn at halftime, was because of those guys who were able to knock down shots early. And I think that it just needs to be a more robust performance from those off guards on the perimeter. Beyond that, I think KU's been inconsistent on the glass. They've largely been a pretty good rebounding team, and one of Bill Self's consistent things has been that the bigs have to play big. They did it in the first half. They out-rebounded UConn 22-13, but the Huskies flipped the script and it went 25-10 in the second half. And it's actually remarkable, considering that margin, that KU didn't get outscored by more than it did after the break. So more consistency on that end would go a long way. I really feel like this team has the defensive bona fides even without Peterson, as I've said, and that's very clear in what they did to UConn yesterday against a team that might be as hard to defend because of the intricacy of their sets of anyone in the country, and certainly that will serve them well down the stretch even when Peterson does return. But for the offense to pull its weight, you need your shooters to actually take and make shots, and they don't look comfortable doing that right now.
Henry, I want to change gears and shift to football and kind of put a bow on that. Kansas is going to miss the bowl season with that loss to Utah. When you look at what you saw when the season began to where the season finished up for Lance Leipold and crew, what are your thoughts as you put a bow on this season?
Yeah, I think just really disappointing. Not as a different kind of disappointment from 2024. You think back to 2024, that was a team that had Big 12 title game aspirations and started out 1-5, somehow rallied to get itself within striking distance of a bowl, and then completely fell flat in the last game. This was not that. This was a team with more mid-level expectations, 7 wins or so, and certainly what I predicted prior to the year. And, a team that Lance Leipold and general manager Rob Ianello and his position coaches had done an admirable job reconstructing for the transfer portal. The first time KU had really been called upon to do that after it lost so many players last offseason. It may be even more frustrating for KU fans in some ways because this team was so close to just delivering on its promise. There were 3 separate games that they pretty much should have won and didn't. I'll run through them in short order, but Cincinnati, which turns out to be a pretty good team this year, KU had a go-ahead touchdown with 2 minutes to go. 3rd and 10 on Cincinnati's own 35-yard line. Trey Lathan dropped the game-sealing interception. And then 4th and 10, Cincinnati's receiver makes an amazing one-handed catch to keep the drive alive. And then Cincinnati goes down and scores the game-winning touchdown. Arizona, this game was extensively litigated, but essentially KU had a 3-point lead with 4th and 2 on Arizona's 11-yard line with less than 3 minutes to go. And Jalen Daniels wasn't able to enter the game because of an injury timeout, and the refs had kind of sent him to the sideline. So Leipold opts to kick a field goal in a circumstance where a first down would have essentially ended the game. A decision he later said he regretted. They missed the field goal. Arizona goes down and scores a game-winning touchdown. And then, of course, most recently on Friday, KU has the ball and a 4-point lead early in the 4th quarter. Jalen Daniels throws a red zone interception. They get back to the red zone. He throws another interception and return for a touchdown. KU ends up losing 31-21. So any of those games goes differently. This team's headed to a bowl game. KU fans feeling pretty good about, I guess, the sustainability of this whole project and the fact that it isn't dependent on one particular group of players, and that Leipold and the staff can build competitive teams in the portal. And I think this team had a lot of promise that it just didn't necessarily deliver on, and those are the moments you look at to say that the season could have gone a decidedly different way. Now they enter another off season with many needs to fill once again. But the concept or the nagging issue of late game execution will continue to hang over KU until it demonstrates that it can do well in those scenarios on a regular basis. And because it hasn't in recent years, it's coming off back-to-back seasons with no bowl trips. And, to a certain point, I understand why people are still saying, well, look at how far the program has come. That 5 wins is considered disappointment. Certainly, they didn't have 5 wins the entire time between Mangino and Leipold, but I think that particular line of conversation sounds a lot more excusable after one 5-7 season than it does after 2 in a row with largely different groups of players.
Once again, Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com, Lawrence Journal World. Real quick, Henry, if you can wrap this up as quick as you can here, but what is the temperature around Leipold after back-to-back bowlless seasons?
I don't think there's much of a temperature. He's taken the program to areas that it hasn't been in recent memory, and I think a lot of people still trust that he can reclaim the success that he had as recent as 2023. I think he understands and has taken a lot. I think he's done a good job taking more accountability and understanding he needs to make change. The question is what exactly that change will look like, because he's not a guy who's keen on shaking up his coaching staff. You think about last season, Jeff Grimes leaves for Wisconsin and Brian Borland retires. It's not like Leipold had to take proactive action, at least as far as we know, to make things like that happen. So I suppose we'll see if there's any changes to the staff. The further we get away from last Friday, the less it seems likely. And I don't know that KU fans will necessarily be happy with that after a somewhat disappointing season. But as for Weipel himself, he's got pretty good job security, and frankly, one big reason why, beyond the fact that he's done wonders for the program, is just like KU's in a position where it needs to continue. It needs to have stability in the football program. It needs to continue to carry through its stadium project and get phase 2 of the Gateway project done and demonstrate that it's still on a concrete upward trajectory, even if the on-field results the last couple seasons don't necessarily evidence that as clearly as the ones of the 2 seasons before.
Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com, Lawrence Journal World. Henry, it's always great to catch up, my friend. We'll do it again soon. Thank you again for the time.
All right, thank you.
Great stuff, Henry Greenstein. We have breaking news. Huge news. We don't usually get breaking news on the Morning Blitz, but get your blood pumping. K-State head coach Chris Kleiman is set to announce his retirement this week.
Whoa.
And set to replace him is none other than former Wildcat and A&M offensive coordinator Colin Klein.
There it is.
Breaking news on the Morning Blitz, people.
Wow.
Get your blood pumping this morning.
Jeez. Came out of nowhere.
Every K-State fan in America is singing this song.
Wow.
I kid you not. People have been out for Chris Kleiman for a while. They don't like Kleiman for whatever reason, particularly people our age, younger. They're not big fans. They didn't like him this year. Everyone wants Colin Klein to come back home. Guess what?
Here he is.
Your prayer has been answered. So guess what? That horrible loss to Bowling Green on, what was that, a couple days ago? Forgiven. It's forgotten about. Gene Taylor was completely on the hot seat. Everyone hated Gene Taylor, the athletic director, because he didn't have great. Tang has been a failure, and Kleiman has they had a terrible year. Get ready, it is a horrible AD. Read social media; it's all over the place. And he completely redeems himself by going out and getting the prodigal son to come back home and coach. Once again, K-State Chris Kleiman expected to announce his retirement this week. And A&M offensive coordinator, former Wildcat quarterback and OC Colin Klein lined up to replace him.
Well, they got their guy.
They got their guy. I'm telling you, there is nothing but hallelujah choruses singing across the Wildcat land today. I mean, I love Chris Kleiman. I thought he did a great job. But you could just see that this season had worn on him a lot in the Utah game after that loss to Utah. That was tough.
Seemed like it just killed his spirit.
Really did. Really did. I feel bad. For the guy.
Yeah.
But if he wants to step away on his own terms, that's great. I'm happy for him. He's doing it on his own terms. And this is who K-State wants. They want Colin Klein. This is who they wanted. Avery Johnson's going to be a monster next year if he can develop him. I mean, that's the perfect quarterback that Colin Klein wants. I mean, think about Marcel Reed and what he did at A&M. I mean, Avery Johnson's another version of him.
What if he transfers?
Which I know there's a chance that I'm going to tell you, I will be shocked if that happens.
It's unlikely.
With Colin Klein coming in. Shocked. So, man, my blood's pumping this morning. Raleigh chimes in. FB Bank text line. Awesome. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Anybody on FB Bank text line chiming in? Nope, nothing about this. But yeah. Breaking news. This comes from On3 Sports, by the way. So pretty reputable source.
There you go.
Saying that Kansas State will have Chris Kleiman. Chris Kleiman is set to announce his retirement this week, and Colin Klein is lined up to replace him. This is not. It's a report, by the way. But I'm once again, if it's On3 reporting it, I feel pretty confident that this is going to happen. So
and KWCH as well. I'm looking around. A few other places are picking it up. So I think it's pretty legit.
Where's our boy? I know Joe Tiller. He's Billy Lucy, who's I think at A&M. I think he's a Texags guy. Yeah. Billy Lucy, who's a Texags guy for A&M. He says, can confirm A&M coordinator Colin Klein set to take over for Chris Kleiman. So the report is out there. People are in. Joe Tillery, our good friend, is a huge K-State guy, as we all know. He goes, I am stoked he's coming home.
Excited. There we
I'm
go.
telling you, watch all week. Follow social media. People are going to be jazzed, to say the least. All right, we got to get to our final break. We'll come back, wrap the show with some quick news surrounding the Colorado Athletic Department. It is not Hallelujah Courses there over in Boulder. Next in the Morning Blitz.
This fall, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has everything you could need. Keep your lawn strong with Ultimate Winterizer, the best defense before the frost. Warm up your evenings and create memories with a new fire pit. Or bring home the flavor with a great selection of grills and smokers from brands like Traeger, Blackstone, Green Egg, and more. And right now, the lumber prices are low, and so are the temperatures, making it the best season to tackle those outdoor projects. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
Fall is here, and so are big savings at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation up to $7,000 off with eligible GMC loyalty. Check out the 26 GMC Arcadia 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. On the Chevy side, the 2026 Equinox is 0% APR, and the 26 Colorado Trail Boss gets $500 customer cash or 3.9% APR for well-qualified buyers. Harvest the savings this fall at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
They can save you money at Hoxie State Insurance. Go ahead and check them out. Cost you nothing to do so, including very affordable ATV insurance found at Hoxie State Insurance in downtown Hoxie and the HSI Insurance Cabin, Highway 40, Winona, Kansas. I'm not bluffing. The Bluff has great fresh cut steaks. I mean, awesome, tenderful, flavorful steaks, plus other favorites like maybe chicken fry, hamburgers, and more. They have noon and evening specials, very affordable, at The Bluff Restaurant and Bar, across from the Cell Barn in Oakley.
It's game time.
What time is it? Game time!
You're listening to the Morning Blitz.
Shout out to my guy, Steven Binkelman. He goes, be careful what you wish for, KSU fans. The Huskers couldn't wait to get Scott Frost.
It's true.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. Little different, though. If Kleiman is stepping down on his own deal, if he says, I've coached a lot, I've won national championships at NDSU, I've come to the Division I level and proved that we can win at a high level, winning a Big 12 title, and he wants to hang it up, more power to him. I'm happy for him. It was, Nebraska had to really go convince Scott Frost to come back, and 2020 hindsight probably shouldn't have.
That didn't work out too well.
More breaking news, too, on the Morning Blitz. Brian Hartline, Ohio State offense coordinator, set to become the head coach at South Florida. Woo! South Florida, baby.
God.
Can you believe that? Penn State doesn't have a coach yet South Florida got Brian Hartline.
I can't. Oh, jeez. I thought there was a chance he wasn't going to leave.
I need to hit I wish I had a button that said, we're going to go 2 hours today. Boom. Oh, my God.
Hit the panic button. Jeez, I'm going to lose it. I can't believe it.
Brian Hartline could have a great showing at South Florida because he's going to be able to recruit all those wide receivers down there, and he can develop them, too.
I hope he does well, but, man, he just put out a tweet talking about how Ohio State has the best this, that, and all this, and now he's like, see ya.
Yep. USF expected to hire Ohio State offensive coordinator Brian Hartline. Great pickup there for them. Man, what a newsy day. Gosh, I love this. So great. Speaking of news, we got to get to the walk-off here in a second, but news yesterday coming down that the University of Colorado Athletic Department is in some serious trouble. They are projecting a $27 million deficit this fiscal year, its largest ever. and could need more than $41 million in university support and student fees to just stay afloat. Reasons for this: rising costs tied to NCAA house settlement and Deion Sanders' $10 million salary are big issues. CU says it won't cut sports, but critics question how the university will cover the gap of as athletics faces leadership turnover. Remember, Rick George is leaving. There's a sign. Rick George said, I'm out. Thanks. I'm going to retire. Leave you guys with this big, hot, steaming pile of you-know-what when it comes to the budget. And also declining football momentum. See, if you don't win and you're going to pay a coach big-time bucks, like at the University of Colorado, where you already have a money problem, you're banking on that your program is going to continue to win. You're going to continue to bring in that money. When you don't do that, you have a massive deficit. And that's where Colorado is right now.
Yes, and I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they did spend a lot of money on Deion, so
no, they've got issues. And you know what? Here's the thing. I'm not going to just point the finger at Colorado. This is going to happen all over the place. People, get prepared. There are a lot of athletic departments that are in the red prior to NIL and revenue sharing. Guess what? It's going to get way worse, to the point to where there's going to have to be cuts. There's going to have to be changes. You watch it. This is only the first wave of these things. But this is why you have to have success. If you're going to pay big money, you better get success for that big money. Goes back to my point yesterday, Connor, about incentivized contracts. We'll pay you more if you bring in more money. If you don't, we're not going to pay you more.
Indeed.
It's the way of the future. On to the walk-off.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off Brady? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
This show rocked today. I love this show. Breaking news all over the place. Emotions up and down. Great. Did you? I shared this story with Connor yesterday, but Ohio State apparently prepped for Plan B because Ryan Day thought that Michigan would pull a fast one and make the headsets go out during the game.
Yeah, apparently, like Sharon Moore knew a guy who has something to do with running whatever, like electronic thing that makes those headsets work. Like. I wouldn't doubt it, though. Those guys are slimy.
Oh, here we go. The bashing of Michigan.
Hey, they play a different game.
So do you guys as well. Trust me. And not saying in a bad way. We play in a different way, though.
Because we're better.
Yeah, probably. Don't forget tonight, also in local sports, Fort Sec Northwest basketball taking on Independence inside the Max Jones Fieldhouse, and Colby Community College men's and women on the road at Dodge. All four combined teams, men's and women's, went 0-4 last time out. We'll see if they can get back in the win column tonight. That'll do it for the program today. For Connor Schuh, I'm Ross Volkmer. Thanks for listening. See you back on a Thursday. It has been The Blitz.
Classic rock